That's right, guys. Welcome to another edition of the podcast with USR. And guys, it's a bit of a sad day because unfortunately, I am by myself. I am team solo. No Guppy, no Bali, no Jeevan, Huddy, Rav, DB, just me, Nicku by himself. But I'm not actually by myself here today because I've got two very special people in my life because these guys gave us, in fact, they're special for two reasons. One, because one's a copper. So we got to be very careful about what we say here today, me and Ro. And secondly, these guys gave us the opportunity to obviously entertain you guys and all your guests and all your family. So we were the DJs at this couple's wedding. So I just want to start off by introducing Ashanti.
Hello, guys.
And Ro.
How you doing, guys?
And so we got Ro and Ashanti here. These guys got married. When did you get married again? Was it September? No, October 2021.
Yeah.
Right. And it should have happened a lot sooner, right?
Yeah.
What was your original date?
April bank holiday 2020. 2020, yeah.
20. So realistic, because you booked us a while before that as well.
2018.
So this is our fourth year of knowing each other, right?
Yeah.
And you only just got married a few years back.
Yeah.
A few months back, I should say. You should have got married a few years back, but you got married a few months back. And it's actually... The reason why I wanted to get you on here today is because obviously we've ever since we got to know each other, we've had a good old banter. It's like we've been friends for a long time, and that's important to vibe with your suppliers and your vendors. And it's been a good journey. Well, it's been a fun journey, but it's also been a very stressful journey for you guys as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, for you, Ashanti, because I think Ro only kicked in. I think the first time I saw Ro was when we went to the restaurant to talk about the music and the itinerary, right?
Something like that.
He came for the lamb meat and the naan bread, cheese on that Indigo. Big shout out to Indigo. So, Ashanti, you want to just begin? So, 2018, obviously, we hooked. We didn't hook up at that point. It's just the email inquiry and then
we came here.
Yes. So,
Well, I came here.
Yeah, you obviously, Ro was nowhere to be seen.
I'm sure I did. I remember signing the contract.
Nah, but I think you came. When did you come? On a serious note, it wasn't Indigo really. It was
One time before Indigo in, yeah.
before we did the refurb of the office, right?
Yeah, so when we were just finalising everything.
Right. Okay. Cool. So he did. Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't know which sound effect. Ro. Big shout out to Ro. He did make it. He did make it to one of the meetings prior to the restaurant meeting. Okay. So Ashanti, you got in touch with 2018.
Yeah.
That feels like years and years ago, because since then a lot's happened, right?
Too much.
So guys, anyone listening, we got Ro and Ashanti. They're our couple who got married a few months back, but their story and their journey is actually quite interesting. There's a lot of obstacles that came your way, a lot of hurdles you had to jump over, and it hasn't been an easy ride, Hannah?
No, not at all.
So do you want to just kind of start from the start?
No.
Venue A.
Yeah. We fell in love with this venue A.
Yeah, we don't mention venue A.
Yeah, it was all great. Everything was fabulous. Got all the suppliers on board. There was a company that we went to for catering services, and they were exclusive to that venue. So everything had to go through them. So that was anything to do with the venue itself, obviously food, floor plans, and all that malarkey. So had my initial meeting with them, asked them loads of questions about the venue. After speaking to them, we decided it was the one. So we decided to book, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we paid quite a big deposit. And then
For the purpose of, I sound like a cop now, I feel like I'm doing your job, but the purpose of, so obviously people listening and forthcoming brides and grooms, because this is almost your story, but we want your story to help other couples in the future, right? Not to make certain mistakes. Not saying that you made mistakes, but it's good to kind of look into things a little bit deeper before going ahead and putting deposits down, right? So what kind of deposit are we talking about here?
Just securing the
venue, securing the dates.
Yeah.
suppliers, kind of.
Food. So we're talking over 3K.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you booked it at 3K, and then moving forward, what did you come across then? What happened?
So once we'd confirmed it all, paid the deposit, we got told, well, all the questions that I'd asked, they weren't answered correctly. So conducted site visits 3 or 4 times. Did one with yourself, didn't I?
Yeah, I remember coming down.
Um,
We had 2 brides booking that same venue at the same time. I remember because one of the site visits they came as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then it was on that second visit that we realised that there was a problem with the sound.
Mm.
Well, Nicku, he realised that's his profession. I wouldn't even know. I was just like, yeah, you have a look. So then I went back to the company that we were going through. They were like, no, everything's fine. But then obviously when I raised my concerns about it being Nicku's profession, so he knows what music should sound like in a venue and all that kind of stuff, that's when it all started to basically just turn sour.
So what was the first in sound limitations?
I remember because you had to use the in-house sound system and we plugged in and it just wasn't suitable. Honestly, it was even the woman that was working there on the site, she goes, it's not really designed for Asian weddings. It's more like sort of dinner music and speeches. It's very tinny, no bass. It's hard to sustain a dance floor. Now, from a DJ's point of view, obviously, look, regardless of which, we would have got paid, walked out there, happy days. But we know that, look, it's not always about the money. It's about how you kind of look at your DJ. People are not going to say, the DJ's plugged into the in-house sound system. They're going to say the DJ's shit, right? Straight away, they're going to say his speakers are shit, the sound system is shit, etc. So it's our branding on the line. But the other couple as well, they were there. And it wasn't even the bride and groom at that point. It was their dad. The dad turned around to the venue and said, look, this is not good enough. And I made sure that I didn't say nothing at this point. I stayed quiet until I was asked the question. And my response was, look, it's hard to sustain a dance floor with this kind of sound. That's all I said. And it's as a DJ, it's difficult. As a crowd, it's going to be difficult to get into the vibe, right? When you listen to music that, your television might sound better than, So, so obviously, look, you raised your concerns, Ashanti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So just let everyone know. So when we went to the site visit, so obviously we explained to them, so we want the DJ there, the speaker's going to be here, the dance floor's going to be here. So they knew exactly what we were doing. Like they obviously know about Asian weddings.
yes,
They agreed to everything, saying, yeah, that's fine. And then after we paid the deposit, that's when they started including all the limitations.
yeah. So at this point, obviously, you just found out that you're not happy with the sound, or no one's happy with the sound apart from the venue. So where did it go from there then?
I tried to look at other options so that nobody else was at a loss.
Mm.
So I looked at other venues that they manage, and a lot of the ones that we went for, they didn't have the availability for those dates.
Right, okay.
And I'd spoken to you about a couple of the venues where because I knew that you'd been there before.
Yeah.
They were all okay, but then the company just weren't happy to work with, basically.
Okay.
I think they denied everything on their end, even though I had everything in emails.
Wow, okay.
I had everything that they agreed to. I didn't even just go to the meetings on my own. I always took an elder member of the family with me because I feel like in the Indian industry anyway, with weddings and stuff, it's better to have that. Especially when you're dealing with somebody who's been in that kind of business for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then, so I had all the proof and stuff that's what was agreed. I was promised that the sound limiter would be sorted out, and that they'd get somebody on board. And then I was told that it's not suitable for a DJ, but it's suitable for a live band.
Also, they're telling you at this point, forget your DJ, go for a live band option instead.
Yeah. So they said, go for a live band, or they have their own recommended DJs that they tend to work with.
Right, okay.
And obviously, we weren't happy with that because that's not what we booked for.
Yeah.
We told them what kind of wedding we wanted, what our expectations were. At the beginning of the meeting, they were like, yeah, we can do it. We can work with you. It's great. All done. Anyway, in the end, it resulted in us cancelling the contract because of the limitations, and we ended up taking them to court.
Wow.
Wasn't an easy process.
I can't imagine it being an easy process either, because this you're looking forward and it's a lead up to the biggest day of your life, right? But then nobody wants to start off the whole process in that kind of negative kind of, it's sending you backwards before you even walking forward, right? So obviously that was the first issue that you guys sort of come across.
Experienced, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, and then you guys looked at venue B.
Yeah, then we went. Then we decided because of how much money we had lost just from that.
Yep.
We were just like, we'd rather just go for a different type of venue. We can still have the same experience, and obviously we'll just work it more towards appropriate budget.
Yeah.
So we booked venue B.
Yeah.
It was great in terms of what we wanted. Everything was included.
Yes, good price, good service, everything.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit us.
It was
COVID
cold.
hit again.
Yeah.
Was that the second?
No. This was.
This was the first wave of COVID that hit.
Yeah. So
So we were due to
Okay,
get married
yeah.
in the April.
April
And-
bank holiday 2020. Yep.
Yep. And then COVID hit
October.
us in March
Yeah.
2020.
Literally a month before
The wedding.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. So at this point, how was you feeling? I know it sounds like a bit of a silly question because look, a lot of couples were affected by COVID. You know, a lot of industry vendors, suppliers, etc. Everyone was affected in the whole world. Whether you're a DJ, caterer, you work in a factory, you make cards for a living, whatever industry you're in, pubs, hospitality. But you as a couple, your experience yourselves. There's a month to go before your wedding reception. Boris hits the red light. No one's allowed to get married. How was you feeling? What was going through your minds?
So stressed.
Yeah.
Literally. I think. So I just had my journey in Feb, the last day of Feb. So I think was it leap year 2020?
I can't remember.
I think it was. Yeah, it was Feb the 29th. Had my journey.
Okay.
And then a couple of days later, it was literally announced that we were going into a lockdown. No weddings, no nothing. And I was just like,
Wow.
you've got to be shitting me. So I was super stressed. And then when I told Ro was just like, so what we're going to do?
Yeah.
And then me being me, I was like, what do you mean what we're going to do? You mean what do I have to do?
To be fair, she sorted everything out.
Yeah.
Man's up.
But I think we decided on what we wanted, and we said if we couldn't have the reception this year,
Yeah.
and they allowed weddings just to go in ahead in general, so that meant that we could have our Anand garage.
Yeah.
Then let's just do it. And then we do our reception the following year. So obviously we then liaised with everybody again.
Yeah.
All the suppliers were like, yeah, we're happy.
Yeah.
We'll be on board. We'll just check our availability. And then so we were going to still go ahead with the Anand garage. I think the numbers were capped at 30.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
The good thought I did say we could have a little bit over.
Let's not mention that Godwara today. Then.
The good thought I did say we could have a little
Godwara A.
Good. I was about to say that.
There was no Godwara B, by the way.
No, there was.
Oh wow! I don't even know these stories.
Yeah, there
Okay, so we've had Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so that happened. And then all of a sudden the numbers dropped down to 6. And
Okay.
we were like, okay, that's not even possible. That's just going to be me, Ro. And then the rest, like our immediate family is going to have to fight over who wants the spot.
Does that include the party and
No.
the Geethan and stuff? So they're all separate to this
Yeah.
6.
So they said they weren't going to do the Geethan.
Okay.
It was just going to be the Bart that was red.
Hmm.
And it would just be me, Ro, the photographer.
And the photographer's part of the 6 as well then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then our parents. That was it. And we were like,
Not quite the wedding you guys
No.
dreamed of,
No.
right? Yeah, okay.
we were willing to do it at 30. We were like, yeah, okay, 30 we can do.
30 you can get away with
Yeah.
because you're not going to piss off Mossy or Bua or,
Literally.
the guy that you don't talk to.
So we were like, 30, yeah, great. Well, not great, but it's doable.
Yeah.
We can get our day
Yeah.
and it'll just be done with. And then we can celebrate the following year.
Huh.
And then, no, it just didn't happen because of the numbers obviously being 6.
So that's your decision not to go ahead with the 6 at that point. So
Yeah.
the wedding didn't happen then. So you postponed it from October.
So first
No.
we're gonna from April we was gonna do in summer sometime, but then we postponed it to October.
Yeah.
We thought we'd give it extra bit of time.
which is a safe option, really. You thought, okay, by summer it'll be over, but let's be on the safe side.
Everyone thought it'd be done by like maybe 2 months or 3 months.
Guppy actually thought when we hit lockdown in March, he thought by April, Easter bank holiday, we'll be back open again. And then he goes, no, we'll be back open in summertime, June, he actually said. And me and our friend Taj was like, nah, mate, what planet you living on? Yeah. And obviously we was right. And unfortunately, Guppy was wrong. We would have wanted Guppy to be right. We wanted the world to open up because obviously, you know, everyone wanted to be back to normal. But obviously, we're still not back to normal. Yeah. And it's like, what, January 2022? But anyway, so Godwater A didn't happen.
Nope.
So October 2020 didn't happen. So what did you guys do then? So at this point, you've had a venue or someone running the event the first time around let you down and you had to go to court.
Yeah.
Second attempt, COVID kicked in. Third attempt, the numbers dropped down from 30 down to 6.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 3 kind of issues that you guys had to kind of encounter and deal with. And then, guys, carry on. So we went from October 2020
to October 2021.
Okay.
So I think we just decided in the end.
Plenty of time.
Let's just postpone it for a full year.
Yeah.
To be fair, we were basically like a married couple anyway.
Yeah.
We saw each other pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Brought a house together.
Oh, easy. We encourage all couples, if you are dating and you're getting married and you if you can, you know, take a load jolo and start that journey. Literally. Because it's, you know, I never did that when I got married. Just to dip into my story very quickly. When I got married, I think I had it's £9,000 to my name. That's all, and I made a lot of money. I lost a lot of money, and spent a lot of money. But that's what I had to my name when I got married, my wedding day. And looking back now, I wish I'd done stuff differently. And all that, the money I had, I blew it on my jogger party as well. So I had nothing. My honeymoon, when I went to honeymoon, it was the money that I made in Suggen. Literally, I think we had about 1,000 people at my wedding, so we made a lot of Suggen. And I took a honeymoon, I came back with nothing. So I started fresh. So if there are any people out there listening to Ashanti and Ro's story, if you can and you're able to, start that journey because it's the best. Possible. Yeah, it's the best investment you can do on a property, and just get on the ladder and build your way up. So okay, so you guys did a great thing, because in that time off, not time off, but you know, that time where you're waiting for the wedding to kick in and the postponed date of October 2021, you was quite kind of, you went out there and bought property, which is amazing, right? So okay.
Another funny thing. We brought it before the April wedding.
Oh, oh, wow. You guys are on the ball. You could have gone for house number 2 in that time then.
We could have, but bloody wedding was costing too much.
No, fair play. No, you know, good on you guys. That's inspiration, to be fair. If you can do that, I always say, if you can do it, because it's, you know, it's great. And looking back, our parents would be proud of us as well. You know, the fact that, look, they've done something like that. And then obviously the only way is up at that point. But okay, so we've postponed it by a whole year from 2020 October to October 2021. Yeah. And everything's looking, in fact, we're still in lockdown at this point.
Still in lockdown.
And lockdown lifts early 2021, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the kids went back to school around January, February. Anyway, so the wedding is happening when we come out of lockdown eventually. You think, yeah, okay, weddings are still off at this point, aren't they? Because I think they opened June the 26th.
There were still like restrictions where you had a 2 meter distance, something like that.
Yeah. I think that's all
still going on, I think, at that time.
But when weddings opened up, there was no partying allowed. It was just literally open venue. You can have people having maybe a bit of a first dance, but
the couple could have a first dance, but everybody else had to sit 6 to a table.
Yeah.
No dancing.
Yeah.
And
no mingling. Just
But if you did have an open marquee, then it was allowed to a certain point, 50% capacity. You could, I think, something along those lines, because we did those parties. I'm not going to mention where and who, but they were lit parties. People haven't danced for a long time. On house party, they probably danced looking at the screen with their mates and their family members. But okay, cool. So I think it's officially July the 19th, which is a Monday. And you're going to think I'm sad, but I remember all the days, because obviously that's when we actually did a wedding on that day, because someone postponed from that Sunday to that Monday, literally a day apart, because of the fact that at least they don't need to look over the shoulders and look at the couples. So it makes sense. I tried to keep looking at you, thinking that am I saying anything right or wrong? But anyway, so you opened up and your wedding's happening now. Yeah. So we're finally on the road, the journey to the wedding day, the reception, and obviously the ceremony as well. That's not happening at this point as well. So we're getting close to the wedding day, and we actually went for a meal, didn't we? And we talked about the music and all that kind of stuff.
No, that was for 5 minutes. We were supposed to talk about everything for the wedding, for that meeting, but it was literally the last 5 minutes that we spent talking about the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else we were just enjoying.
Yeah. To be fair, like, and we always say, you know what? If you can vibe with your people, do that. And like when people come and see us, like we've got a bar in the office, and we don't come in. People don't come in and we start saying, okay, what day's your wedding? How many people? What do you want? How much you want to spend? All that kind of stuff. We're just jamming. We just get to know each other because it's a very social game that we're in, and we enjoy it. And it's not fake. We enjoy what we do. So that day where we went to talk about the music, we actually didn't until the last 5 minutes. The rest of the time we were talking about how many people did you arrest yesterday, Ro Ashanti, or Ro, how's work, and like all this kind of stuff. But and so we went from India, and we had a few drinks. We talked about the wedding towards the end, and everything was looking good, right? And then I remembered. You actually came to visit us, Ashanti, about a week before the wedding or 2 weeks before the wedding.
2 weeks.
At the office. You came here at the office and we sat down at the bar and we was literally running through all the last niggly bits, like any bits and bobs that we need to do. And then you guys want to share with everyone what happened then?
Venue B got caught alight.
Yeah. And we don't need to mention the name, but big shout out to these guys. They're amazing people. Yeah. So really nice family, really nice hospitality. Yeah. And to be fair, it wasn't nice. This is nothing to do with COVID. This is nothing to do with anything else. It was just unfortunate that this venue caught on fire, and no one wants that, right? And especially it shouldn't happen to anyone, but such a nice family and such a nice set of people. But anyway, so unfortunately, your wedding's around the corner, and the venue that you booked and waited for so long, obviously caught on fire.
Yeah. So that caught on fire. I remember I got a phone call actually to say that it caught on fire, and I was just like, "Are you shitting me?" That was that's the first thing that came to my head was, "Are you shitting me?"
I'm sure it's actually Nicku who is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
think so.
Yeah. Did I tell you then?
Yeah.
So,
and then as soon as you called me, I was like, okay. And then my mum looked at me and she was like, "What the hell?" And then I think we were coming back from Bentley Bridge.
Okay.
So then you called me and I was like, "Oh, this is a bit weird. Maybe he's just seen us. Maybe he's at the office."
Yeah.
And then mum was just like, "What's up?" And I was just like, "Do you really want to know?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "The venue has set on fire." And she was like, "You've got to be fucking." And I was just like, "No." And then I think I rung Ro and I was literally close to tears. I was like, "Are you being for real? Like, we're so close again. And this has just happened to us again." Even though it's not just us that it's happened to, there was probably a lot of people that had functions.
That's a very, very busy venue. Yeah.
Very busy,
yeah.
I think there was a wedding on the same day, and I
There
genuinely
was, There was. That's how I found out about it, because they were calling the venue that I was DJing on that day, saying, "Have you got any availability?" Because this has just happened, and it was like, wow. And fair play to this venue. What venue are we on now? Nothing to do with your wedding, but they said to me, "Nick, pass me his number. Let me call him and see if there's anything that we can kind of accommodate for him." And I think a lot of venue owners try to help this venue, which is great because although you see each other as competition, and everyone's got their roti and everyone's doing their bits and stuff, and it's really good to see that unity within the venues and stuff, 100%. Trying to help this particular venue out. So okay, cool. So that happened. Your mum just swore out loud in the car coming back from Bentley Bridge.
I'm close to tears with Ro on the phone.
Ro, how did you sort of respond or react?
I was like, oh my God. I was like, shit, it's not supposed to be.
Yeah. To be fair, all the signs were there to say, guys,
don't get married.
Don't get married. Don't fucking do it.
My boy's like, I told ya.
Oh shit, that was
Which one?
Oi, mate A.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
it's just crazy. I was like, oh my God, like, what's happened now? I was calm then, but to be fair, I was like, okay, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
To be fair, throughout the whole process, I was quite calm.
Yeah. You was nowhere to be seen, that's why.
I was going to say, by deal with it, he means, "Shanks, you'll sort it out, don't worry."
Yeah, okay, cool. So
I just said, we'll have to look for another venue.
Yeah.
See
what else could you do at this point?
At that point, we was like, okay, we won't have a reception party if we can't find anything.
Yeah.
Good, we can do that next year.
Yeah.
Again.
Next year again.
We keep going. I'll tell your kids are not uni.
5 years down the line.
So did you guys have insurance at this point?
Yeah. So
yes, we did.
I think that's the first big thing that I'd made sure I did when we found out that we were getting married. I took out wedding insurance.
So insurance was done before venue A?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And do you think a lot of couples out there are doing wedding insurances
I think
prior to COVID? Because obviously
no.
they probably won't even cover COVID,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
No.
Yeah.
No, they don't. Me personally,
Because I didn't know it existed. I'll be honest with you. I've been in the
Yeah.
game for 17 years. I didn't realize there's a wedding insurance
Yeah.
from
See-
a bride and groom perspective.
see, like me, if it wasn't for Chance, I probably wouldn't have done insurance.
Yeah.
But glad we did.
Yeah.
It does help out, but
They didn't help out enough.
not. Yeah. So we got
Okay.
I think how much money we get most of it back?
We got
In terms of percentage,
Can't remember.
like how much of it you reckon you got back?
for
75.
And was that always, were they always going to give you 75%, or was
No,
it, did
so-
they find out?
They were still trying to like not give us.
Yeah.
That's what insurance companies do, and
Yeah.
they try and get out of it anyway.
Okay. So you got
Um,
75% back, and the 25% that you didn't get, what was that? What was that on the basis of then? Did they actually explain
No,
why you're not
so-
getting the full amount?
basically they said that they will only cover for what we lost out on the venue. So they wouldn't cover the catering costs and all that kind of stuff.
all
Even
that
though
deposits.
I did tell the insurance company that the catering was like we paid for it all in one package basically. Catering, beers, alcohol, whatever. We
Yeah.
paid for it all. Exclusive to that venue. I don't think they understood it because
Yeah.
it was it's obviously not an Indian company that was dealing with the insurance. It's
Okay.
a westernized company.
Yeah.
So they don't know the ins and outs of how our weddings really work.
Right. Okay.
What we have to do. So I had to break down everything, literally going back and forth. I don't even think they agreed on 75%. I think it was less. I put a massive complaint in, saying that we don't feel that we've been dealt with properly, considering it came up to a week before the wedding now.
Wow.
Yeah, it was been a while.
So
I'd called around loads of different venues to try and see what could be done. A lot of them were obviously booked up because
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
backlog of weddings since
Absolutely, yeah.
2020. I know you helped so much with
Yeah.
trying to source venues for us.
Yeah.
And then we ended up going back to the drawing board and contacted the first venue that we ever went to see.
All right. Okay.
We literally fell in love with that venue, didn't we?
Venue
Yeah.
C we're talking about.
Venue
right?
When you
C,
see
yeah.
now.
We're going for the alphabet, guys.
Yeah, went for venue C, contacted them, explained the situation. They were fully aware of it and they were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we first booked our wedding in general, we had a budget in mind that we wanted to spend and the venue was over our budget. But I don't think it would have mattered now because the amount that we lost and in the process,
Yeah.
it would have totaled up to that anyway. But they were great. They helped us out a lot. Went back to the insurance and said to them, this is the only venue we can find that are available on the day. We've got family coming in from abroad. People have booked hotels.
Yeah.
It's a lot for them to then say, oh, well, no, you still can't, we need to change the venue or change the dates again.
Yeah.
I said, we just can't change the dates. I said, we've been waiting for our wedding now for nearly 2 years. So if we changed it again, then it would have been this year, the wedding would have.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody had availability.
It was a busy time for a lot of people, purely because of the backlog.
So then Venue C held the date for us pending an update from the insurance company. The insurance company just sent us a lump sum of money. It wasn't anywhere near to what we needed to pay. But we just ended up going with it.
Yeah. So, wow.
It was worth it.
Yeah. So okay. So this is the week before the wedding.
A
You're
week
saying,
before
Rob?
the wedding.
Wow.
We still didn't know what we were doing. So Mike Karahi had started.
I was just about to say that. You know, when you should be making Google in the back
Yeah.
garden, you were
We
literally on the
sorted
phone
out
to the insurance.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Swear to God,
Damn.
the amount of calls I had with the insurance company were crazy, even to the point where I was sending emails at stupid o'clock at night to I don't even know how you say it, the husbands.
Ombudsman.
Yeah.
Ombudsman.
them.
Yeah. Financial ones.
To tell them that we haven't been dealt with correctly. It's a
Yeah.
week before the wedding. Yes, I understand there's so many people that have been affected, but we are literally a week before the wedding. I'm not
Borderline.
paying a
It's touch and
massive.
go, innit? It's touch and go.
Yeah, I'm not paying a massive amount of money to not know that I'm not covered for it,
Yeah.
or at least a certain amount of it.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they just decided to settle the claim and just gave us a lump sum of money. And yeah, we ended up having the big day.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do. You know what, guys? 2018. You know what? I'm gonna actually find out when. your initial inquiry, what I'm going to do on the screen, I'm going to grab the screenshot of the date and your initial inquiry. I'm going to put it on the screen. You know, when this gets edited, I'm going to put it on there. But we'll go back to see how far back we're actually going.
I think it was around.
I just remember it's a long.
It's got to be around. It was July onwards, I think, 2019.
So yeah, wow. So just that's crazy. So I remember being in the office and I got your inquiry and we was going through. I was on the phone to you actually, and my mate Mickey was with me and you was on speaker because I was driving and was going towards our normal munch around midday ish. I remember and talked to Mickey afterwards. Your name popped up and he goes, Ashanti, is that the one from back in the day that I inquired? I go, yeah, she's still not married because this is what happened. And he goes, fucking hell, really? I goes, obviously COVID's a big player in that as well, but then you've had all sorts of issues as well. But look, we got that. I remember in fact, the meeting that we had here in the office, you brought your trainers down and you had was it Air Force Ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for obviously, in fact, have you got a picture of it that you can send me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So send me that and I'll put it on the screen. So basically, Ashanti, for the ones that are listening or watching right now, she's got Air Force Ones, which are night trainers, pure white. And you and Ro, in fact, both of you, right?
Yeah.
You're like a couple and you had it painted up or drawn on.
Yeah, so with that, as soon as I found out what we were wearing, I had my morning outfit done on one trainer with the chura and the mehndi on the hand.
Yeah.
And then on the other trainer, I had mine and Ro's reception outfit.
Yeah.
At that point, I did think I was having my hair up, but long story short, I didn't have my hair up. It was down.
Small details. Small details.
And then the date that we first met, the date that we officially got together, so back in 2011.
Wow.
And then the date that we got married.
Sick. Did you put the date you got married on then?
Yeah.
Yeah. You must have done that afterwards, right?
Yeah, so it was.
I was going to say, I think I remember saying to you, don't put any dates on.
Yeah.
there's enough evil eye on this wedding. I'm like, Nuzzard, yeah.
So much Nuzzard.
Mate, do you not? Because when we get a phone call an hour before the wedding and they say, oh, you know what, freaking, I don't know, whatever. But then you're going to have to move to October 2029 or something. But anyway, so you eventually got married. And I remember, I'm not being biased, but your wedding was sick. Yeah, your wedding was sick.
Oh, thanks to you, man.
No. I think, look, you can say that, but obviously we had a part to play, but I think everyone was just there for the vibe. Yeah. I remember seeing loads of people that I knew anyway, generally. And I remember just the whole vibe, it was just sick. Like, people wanted to be there. One of those ones, just like in there, can't be anywhere. As soon as they eat the roti, they leave. Your wedding was just lit from the word go. Yeah. People were hype. You guys looked amazing. The venue looked sick. The decor, everything just looked 10-10. And we started the party and it's like we didn't want that party to finish.
Yeah.
And it was a long wait, 2018, July, June, whatever you're saying. But we got there in October 2021. So, you know what? So we made it happen and you guys are officially a married couple. Yeah. You officially have your name drawn on your trainers, which makes it more official than a piece of paper. And so you've been married, 4 months now? Is it October?
Coming up to 4 months.
4 months.
What's the date today?
It's the 9th, isn't it? Or the 10th? 9th or 10th?
Yeah, so
9th today, isn't it?
Yeah, so.
It'll be 4 months tomorrow.
Is it 10th of...
It's the 9th today, so 10th.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, you're officially married and you shared your story with obviously all the people that are listening or watching right now. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And so the reason why I wanted to get you guys on was obviously share your story, but also how or what can you say or what can you advise anyone listening or anyone watching who are looking to follow the same steps, hopefully not exactly the same steps, but you know what I mean? Like they're planning to get married. What advice would you give these guys, like in terms of not just from the venue point, but just generally, because you guys, you've been there quite recently. So what would you say to these guys?
Excluding like COVID, I'd probably say just be careful before you put any money down, deposits and stuff. Just make sure everything that the suppliers are saying is correct.
Yeah.
Venues especially. The other thing is make sure you put in deposit down using a credit card.
Okay, for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to get the money back.
Okay.
With a credit card.
Obviously,
we was young. We didn't know. It's the first time we've done this, so we paid.
I'm the last time.
I'm the last time.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Shy looking at Ro thinking, mate, where are you going with this? But yeah, okay. So
I think the other couple. So venue A.
Yeah.
The other couple, their I'm sure
Yeah,
you spoke to them.
they paid
So-
by credit card and they managed to get their full deposit
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
We had to go obviously court case and all
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
stuff,
I think-
and we still didn't get our money back. We got half. So
Really?
We
Okay.
got half of it back, but I think as well, regardless of whether we got our money back or not, I still wanted to take him to court because I was like, it's the principle of
Yeah.
the matter. Like,
Yeah.
the wedding was booked in 2018 for a 2021 wedding. What costs have you genuinely incurred in that time?
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that you may have had another booking, but that date was going to be so popular, he would have got another booking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, you got to look at it from an industry point of view or a vendor point of view. And what you just said, sometimes, you get double dates and somebody else inquiring, and you can't facilitate because you got, like, for example, you guys booked in.
Yeah.
I understand that part. And if somebody does have card charge, you look at it, or if someone spent time with you in meetings or, site visit, etc., take that out. But then I agree. And we're firm believers of that. And, like, we gave back a lot of COVID refunds, a lot. The ones that postponed, obviously, we kept on to it as a credit, but everybody else got their money back because it's the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
It's not their fault, it's not our fault, but you just have to be the right person. I always say when people come over and do client meetings and they ask about the COVID, so what's our take on it? We say, look, at the end of the day, look, our deposits aren't much, but anyway, if I'm walking down the road, I want people to cross the road to say, get the Nicku, shake my hand, give me a hug. I don't want them crossing the road for any other reason. You get what I'm saying?
No.
And if you be nasty or do things the wrong way, look, where's that going to really take you, right? And it's funny because there's an inquiry that came. It's actually a booking that came through, and we couldn't do it, and we get the deposit back. That same family came back to see us for the second son's wedding, yeah, and we would have lost the opportunity if we didn't get the first son's wedding money back. So he got married, the second son's getting married now, and they booked a massive package with us for next year, or was a year after, I can't remember now. But again, the month of love, it's one of those situations. Good karma. So do things the way you want to be treated. Yeah. So going back to your point about advice to other couples and stuff. So the biggest thing that you're saying right now is do your research and try to pay off a credit card for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think as well, depending on where your venue is, if it's not a very well-known venue, obviously a lot of venues are on social media now. You can see a lot of DJs or decor companies that are going out and doing huge weddings there that would have at least had some input.
Okay, yeah.
Like all knowledge of that venue and what the sound and stuff is like.
Just ask around.
Just do social media is massive. You can find out anything.
Yeah.
And I'd definitely recommend doing that, even if it takes an extra 48 hours. It's worth it because you don't really want to be in a position where we were in.
Do you guys feel that you rushed into it?
I felt like
into certain bookings?
Yeah, so I think with venue A, and I look back at it now, and after speaking to loads of different suppliers and stuff, it was a sales tactic.
Yeah, I don't think we're just because of our fault. I think it's the way they sold it us.
Yeah.
You need to book ASAP because we've got someone else looking at these dates.
Yeah.
And obviously we're kids at the end of the day.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
At that time anyway, so we was like, okay, we need to get this done ASAP. Just like that.
So you would say literally do your research, credit card, and obviously just
insurance.
Yeah, I think as well with insurance. So I went for based on what our budget was and what we'd spent on the wedding, I went for a package around the same as that. But I think always insure for more.
Yeah.
Instead of insure for less. And I think that's probably a mistake I made as well.
Yeah.
But I insured it for the amount of what our wedding had cost.
Yeah.
I think looking back at it, probably should have insured it for more than the wedding had cost, just in case, for example, like that happened with the venue B setting on fire, we would have probably got all of our money back.
Sure.
And the venue paid for on top.
It's one of those situations, like even when you're doing your car insurance, your home insurance, it's always better to be like some people said, if I just not declare my points or I do this, it's always going to bite you.
100%.
Right? Just be completely honest and do more, like you said, because God forbid it ever happens to anybody, because it's not a nice experience. You guys we got there in the end, but it should have been a lot simpler and a lot more fun, the whole journey. Yeah. Like we go back to the Google on the week before your wedding, the guy and stuff. You shouldn't have been on the phone. No. You should be sitting there because it's your big day, the lead up, even yourself, Ro. You know what I mean? This is when I got married, it's the best time of my life. The lead up was so exciting. I was just buzzing every day. And I suffer from anxiety, I've mentioned in the previous, and I would have shit myself. I would have been thinking, fuck, now what? You know what I mean? But when I got married, no one cared about how the venue looked or how the decor looked and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm making myself to be really old. I'm not old, but I just got married quite young. But you know, no one cared 11 years ago how, you know, if they're plastic Bondi or the real Bondi or, you know, if the balloon. Well, I didn't have balloons. Back then, my setup was sick. I'm not going to lie. But if you look now, you think, fucking, what the hell was that about, mate? But it's one of those situations.
Yeah.
And look, it's, you know, like weddings are a big thing, right? Some people will go on the basis of, this is my budget, this won't work. And to some people have a different viewpoint where they want something. Hannah? And do you feel like we live in the day and age where, I'm not saying it's you guys, but do you feel like we live in the day and age where people are spending money they don't have to impress people they don't like?
Yeah.
In this Asian community.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I think I felt guilty. Well, I wouldn't say I fell guilty into that trap.
Yeah.
I felt like social media had a massive part to play
Okay.
because I think everything on Instagram is shown, for example, just one of the social media examples I can give. Everything's luxury.
Yeah.
You like just on your explore page when you're looking for inspiration and
Yeah.
stuff, or oh, this looks good, or what about that? So you inquire for it and then you hear the price and you're like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
But in general, like I think you'll always find yourself comparing. And I
And
think
do you so you're saying that you was guilty of that as well? You was looking at somebody else's wedding thinking, you know what, I want that too, or I want that nice venue, venue A.
I think yeah, and I think I'd call myself I'd be a liar if I didn't say I didn't do that.
Okay, yeah.
I think when you go onto social media and you're looking for inspiration, I think especially as a woman,
Yeah.
you have a massive idea of how you want your wedding and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even though your parents are sitting there saying to you, Shants, in 48 hours, it's going to be over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry. I think I would have felt more guilty if I had said, for example, that my parents were paying for my wedding and I was just like, yeah, I want this,
Okay.
this and this.
Yeah.
I think from the offset, me and Ro were quite confident that we were going to go half-half
Yeah.
and we were both going to do it ourselves because we wanted the party.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things. I think you need to look at your back, like your family background as well. If you know it's going to pull somebody out,
Yeah.
don't do it. Like, and it's easy to fall into the trap because so and so's had this and so and
I
so's
guess,
had that.
yeah.
I think the addition that we added on was a cocktail bar.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved the idea of having a cocktail bar. And I expressed that, like I said to Ro, and Ro was just like, but why? It's just a waste of money. We don't need to spend that much on that. And I was just like, oh, but it's going to be nice. Like, you know, people can enjoy their drinks and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And I like cocktails.
Yeah.
You like cocktails. But that's because it was now the to-do thing.
Okay, I see.
Whereas
yeah,
I don't think anybody would have said anything if there was just bottles on the table.
sure.
Like, it wouldn't have made a difference. People were still being fed. People were still being
Yeah,
having drinks and stuff. But I think because that was the more of a to-do thing, that's what I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. But I think it's so guilty to fall into the trap of just adding on extras and extras and extras for the sake of adding them on because you don't want to feel like you've missed out on something.
Yeah, and so what you're saying is like social media doesn't help. It does help because obviously, you know, when you're booking, you're looking around, etc.
Yeah.
And it does help you in a positive way, but it also helps. It doesn't help in the sense that when you see something, it sets a vision in your mind, and you think, you know what, I want that too.
Yeah.
Hannah. So I guess that works with anything. You might see someone driving a nice car, you think, you know what, I want that car, even though it might not be affordable, but you want that car. So it sets that kind of
100%.
And it might not be, you might not be able to afford it, but you will still put yourself out because did you feel pressure at all in the sense that you had to do it to show people, or was this just your own brain going overdrive thinking, you know what, I want that, or I want this, or I don't want that?
I think it was myself.
Okay.
Like, because to be fair, out of our circle, we were the first ones to get married.
Okay.
In general, out of like our friendship circles.
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't know, I wouldn't say I felt pressured because I think I was always working towards the budget that I wanted to spend.
Your wedding was nicely done though. It wasn't cheap. It was a good wedding. It was like high end. But now, do you feel like you're saying that you guys are the first in your friendship circle? Do you feel like the next people who get married in your friendship circle, they're going to feel pressure thinking, you know what, these guys did this, they had that cocktail bar, they had this setup, that decor, that venue. Do you feel like they're going to feel pressure now because you guys had that nice fairy tale wedding, whatever you want to call it, you know, that nice, because nothing was cheap there. It was a good wedding. So do you feel like, have you ever thought about that?
No, but
You just fucked up your mates, guys.
Yeah.
no,
I
but
see where you're coming from, but I feel
think
like
it
they
works
don't
both.
need to. They don't need to like.
They don't need to, but what I'm saying is,
End of the day, it's about what you guys, whoever, like what you can afford.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
think,
mean?
and that was the biggest thing. Like,
And
Ro would 100% come back to me and be like, "Well, can we afford this?"
Yeah.
Like, are you
I'm simple. I was like, yo, do we need this decor? Do we need to
Yeah,
spend
yeah.
extra on a cocktail bar? Do we need to spend extra on this?
Yeah.
Because I thought, end of the day, we're gonna get married either way. It's gonna be the same. Everyone's gonna enjoy this house. But
yeah.
looking back at it now, yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Like, as in like pressure wise, I don't think there wasn't no pressure, and I don't want our friends or family and
so on.
to feel pressured either.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. To be fair, everyone should stay within their means. And unfortunately, we live in this society where people do look
Yeah.
around, and someone will come to your wedding. And I'm not saying they did it at your wedding, because I don't think they actually did, because everyone's like raving. But you know, they can't be involved, and they're almost the people that put pressure on you as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to cuss your roti, but then they'll put pressure on your parents to say, you know, does it only get the only get?
Yeah.
You know,
So-
and it's happened for
Yeah.
many
I
generations.
think the difference with our wedding was, well, I don't know. Okay, so because me and my missus funded for it,
Yeah,
it was about who we wanted there
yeah,
more
yeah.
than, obviously, you know what our parents like.
Yeah.
I don't know about or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
We was like, no, we want to, obviously, like, yeah, that's fine. If we want to call them, that's fine. But let us choose who we want there, because our
Absolutely,
wedding,
yeah. And do you think it's swinging that way now? Because back in the day,
I think it is.
like, I mean, I had 1,000 people at my wedding. Guppy got married 5 years after me, and he had 600. So we dropped 400 people. And I don't want to say drop, because they might be listening now thinking, you bastards. Yeah, but there was 400 people less, even though the family should have gone bigger because there's more in-laws and all the rest of it. But there was less people. But then when my sister got married, she got married during COVID, and there's 15 people at that wedding. You get what I'm saying? But it's good, because we had to do the whole, I see one of the
Yeah.
roti khadi, this and that, and we got to do the same. And that's a very traditional. And I see where they're coming from, but at the same time, if you guys are paying for it yourself, to a degree, like, you still have to have that level of respect as well
Yeah,
from
of
your
course.
parents, because you don't want
Of
anyone to think
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
But then, do you think there's too many different things that we think about when it comes to wedding, about
Yeah.
other people as opposed to
Us.
us?
Yeah, just don't think about what other people are going to think about your wedding. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
We had 250 people.
Yeah. 250.
You know what really gripes me with Uppany?
Yeah.
They tell you they're going to be at your wedding, and then they still don't turn up. So you could have invited somebody else.
Yeah. Asians don't do, Midlands don't do RSVP.
So I'd say 90% of our guests RSVP'd.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Because we were.
Yeah, we did it.
My parents would never do that. They wouldn't know what it is.
Yeah. So mum.
And some people might find it offensive as well.
And you know what? The older generation is starting to understand it now.
Mm.
Because,
It is. It's like,
Yeah.
for example, you're paying nearly 60, 70 quid per person
Yeah.
just for food.
Yeah.
Nothing else, just for food.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
And it's like,
That means we owe you 140 quid.
imagine, but if you think about it logically, like,
Yeah.
I said, like, my mum was fuming at first. She was like, you can't ask people to RSVP.
Yeah.
And my bibs was like, no, that's rude. You can't join that. Like, whoever's going to come is going to come. Whoever's not going to come, they're not going to come.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, if we're spending this much money, people need to tell me that they're coming, or whether if they are or if they're not. Because if they tell me that they're not coming and then they turn up on the day, I'm going to say, you're not allowed in.
Yeah, simple. It's a very hard thing to say to someone when they turn up in
Yeah,
their length
but
and stuff.
I'd be like, no. But I'd say you're not coming in.
Yeah, but you know what? This a whole wedding malarkey. We can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, because there's so many different things we can mention. And to be fair, we could probably do another podcast regarding this, the traditional side of weddings and stuff, and how, unfortunately, due to tradition, we're having to spend X amount more to keep people happy. But those
Yeah.
people, should they even be at the wedding in the first place?
Exactly.
And that's one. There's so many different ways of looking at it. I've always been very traditional, and because I got married 10 years ago, my parents, and I still respect that, to be fair, my parents wanted X, Y, Z at the wedding, Hannah. And to be fair, I like big numbers, because I'm always like, I just love people, yeah, but it is a waste of money.
Yeah.
No offense to the people that turned up, but you know, like, you're feeding people, and then they're not really going to be your day, your day people. You're not going to be on the phone to them. You're not going to be on the WhatsApp to them or checking their what have you. And it's, you know what? We're spending money on people for what?
That's one of the best things I can say about our wedding.
You
Every
didn't?
single person that we had there. The Anand Garage, there was extra people, because I said to my mum,
Yeah.
people that we're not invited to the reception, you invite to the good door. I said the same to mom and dad as well.
Yeah.
But But the reception, it was literally every single person that we wanted, that we loved, that we
You're
enjoyed
mad.
spending
That's so
time
sick.
with.
You know what I
and
And to be fair, you're quite lucky in that sense.
and
Not
we
everyone
went
has that.
Yeah.
we went round to every single table and
Yeah.
mingled with our guests.
And like we knew everyone there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different. It was nice.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
go to one table and think, oh, who are you? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think-
recognise you.
Like you said, that's probably why the vibes were so good.
Yeah, I
what I
guess
mean?
so. I guess so because the people wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as opposed to, oh, yeah, let's go show our face,
Yeah.
put £5 in the card, whatever the point is. You know, but no, it's very interesting, the whole Asian weddings and stuff. And like I said earlier, I really appreciate that you guys took time out and spent time sort of sharing your story because it's very interesting, and hopefully we can inspire or help anybody else out there. But I guess we can draw it to a close now. Anything else that you guys want to say before we press the red button
I
and
think
lock off?
I'd like to say thank you to all of our suppliers.
Yeah.
You know who you
Sick.
all are.
Supply A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Literally everybody worked around the clock in terms of coming together to make all the changes and just make it go absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Sick.
Like it was
Sick.
lit.
Yeah.
And big thanks to you because everybody literally said there wasn't one moment on that dance floor that we had to ask for people to come and
Yeah.
dance. Everybody was already there.
And I think, to be fair, look, I think it's a two-way thing. DJ needs to be good, but the crowd needs to be there as well.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we put 110% into it, but then we could still do that, and then you'll still get reserved people. But like you said earlier, your party was just people that wanted to vibe out, and they were there. We were there. Everyone turned up,
Yeah.
and it was one of the best parties of the year. So if it's okay with you, maybe I can put some clips on the video as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the batteries are going to run out, and all our cameras and all our lights and us. We're going to grab some food now, guys, because Ro hasn't eaten since 3:30.
No, that's me.
Oh, you're 3:30, you're half
Half
full,
full.
I'm half full. So
I'm hungry.
yeah, she's hungry, but she's still smiling. So we're going to grab some food now. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Just me, by the way.
No problem.
Thank you for
No
having
friends around me and no team. But you know, we're one big team anyway
Yeah.
with you guys, and we'll carry on hooking up and going for food and drink.
Yeah.
In fact, let's go for food now. Yeah,
Let's
but
go.
Let's go.
so anyone listening or watching right now, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been so insightful listening and you guys sharing your story, and hopefully this inspires other people. You can learn from it. You can kind of guide your wedding reception, hopefully in the right way. And you know, these lots not mistakes, but their journey, like changing your path a little bit if you was heading in that same direction. But anyhow, look, this is episode something. I can't remember what it is, but it's so much fun we're having at the moment. We're going to get more people on over the coming weeks. Celebrities, industry folk, more clients, just us guys vibing out different stories. We are going to touch upon destination weddings and also the releases of our songs as well in the next coming up episodes. But in the meantime, stay safe, look after yourself, and we'll catch up soon. Bye.
Shanti's got married. La la la.
Coffee that I need in the morning. You're my sunshine in the rain when it's pouring.